Welcome back, I'm the One-Eyed Crow, and we're here for another MetaZoo Weekly update. Today is February the 27th, 2022, and to kick us off, we're going to start with Kickstarter. Before we begin, as always, I'd like to ask you to subscribe if you haven't already. It helps the channel a great deal. I'd really appreciate it. The Kickstarter is now complete as of the 25th, and that raised a total of $1,857,667 across 5,336 backers. So all in all, pretty great turnout there, almost $2 million, little over 5,000 backers there. At one point it was above 2 million when the original art came out, and towards the end of the Kickstarter, a lot of the original arts that were snatched up for $5,000 each were taken off of people's add-ons, so that kind of brought the bill down there. And from what I hear, there was about 7 Archcaster levels left at the end of it. So 7 Archcasters had backed out, which that was a $500 tier. So that really adds up there. For the updates over the last week to the Kickstarter, the Archcaster and Headcaster promos were revealed. This is 2 versions of the same card essentially, with Mothman, Cumberland Dragon, Flatwoods Monster, Bigfoot, and Wendigo playing poker. The Archcaster was illustrated by Afton, and this is a little more basic if you kind of look at the art there. Very plain kind of background, carpet, clock in the background there. And then you have the Headcaster version, which was done by Chris Campman, and it's more of an upgraded scene. Everything's a bit more regal. The background is a bit more detailed. It's a very nice card there. But ultimately they were given the same kind of scheme, and both artists had to keep with that, it would seem. There was also the announcement for the partnership with the World Poker Tour. So World Poker Tour will be producing all of the poker chips for the Kickstarter. So these are going to be some top quality ceramic chips from a very prominent player in that area. And the World Poker Tour logo will be on all of the playing cards, all of the promo cards, and will be on the chips as well. So really taking over this Kickstarter from that perspective. For those of us that were excited about the gilding on the cards, these were actually added as an add-on for $6 per deck. So if you got 3 decks, like I did in the Mastercasters, I actually had to pay $18 to get them all gilded. I did do that option because I think it's going to make them a better long-term investment. And if I actually do decide to play with these, I'm going to enjoy them a lot more. Originally, this was planned as a stretch goal rather than a add-on. However, the process for gilding adds another 8 to 10 weeks. So I believe a lot of people didn't really want to wait that long if they didn't want it. And that's understandable. That's an extra 2+ months to get the product that you're kickstarting. And it was a great way to provide gilding to those of us that want it, because I know some of us actually do want it, and allow the others that don't want it to not have to delay their order. So for the people that do want gilding, their orders will be delayed by 8 to 10 weeks. It was also announced that the original art cards will be given away at random. 42 will be given away to Headcasters, 42 to Archcasters, and 42 to Mastercasters. Some of these were still bought, and of those, they are guaranteed to be face cards. So they're guaranteed to be your kings, queens, jacks, etc. for those who actually bought that add-on. The free poker chips were also revealed at the end of the Kickstarter. So there's 3 chips. There's gold, silver, and bronze. The gold chips will go to Headcasters, silver to Archcasters, and the bronze to everybody else. And these will be stamped with your backer number. So for me, I will get a bronze poker chip with the number 92 on it. And the last update for the Kickstarter is the full promo sheets. These were actually delayed. They were supposed to be revealed on the 24th. To date, they are still not revealed. I'm assuming this is most likely to do with the World Poker Tour announcement. They probably want to get the right branding and stamps on those for the full sheet reveal. Getting into some other updates for the week, this was a big week for the reveal of the contents of the Wilderness Spellbook. So on February 20th, we got a look at the Wilderness Spellbook promo. So it's very similar to the Nightfall one or the Cryptid Nation one. It has a bunch of the key players for Wilderness on the card. Looks great. On February 22nd, around noon, we got a look at the plastic playmat that comes in the spellbooks for Wilderness. This is the same art that's on that promo card. So very similar there. On the 23rd, We got a look at the sleeves that will be part of the Wilderness Spellbooks. I'm actually excited for these sleeves. I do like to actually use the sleeves that come with the spellbooks, and I think they help set things apart, and they just look nice. On February 24th, around 6 p.m., we get a first look at the Wilderness Spellbooks themselves, and features a face on it. It's very leafy, and the reception on this has been a bit divided from what I'm seeing. Some people love it and some people hate it. I think it's going to go really well with the existing spellbooks that are out there, very contrasting, so I'm really excited to put it on the shelf back there with those ones. But some people just don't like the art of it, so we'll see how that goes once it comes out. For me, I'm pretty excited for it. So those were all the main updates that came out for the Spellbook, but keeping in line with the Wilderness theme, on the 21st, we got to see a look at the premium Wilderness mat that we'll see on the MetaZoo Marketplace. This is very nice art there. It has the Wilderness, I'm going to call it a rune, I don't really know what to call that, but the rune kind of art that we've seen over the past couple weeks, and it's in between two Hodag statues. On February 26th, we got a nice look at a Wilderness shirt. It actually looks like it was being sold or displayed at Collecticon, so if you were able to get one, if you went to Collecticon, let me know, that would be great. This has Bigfoot on it, Cumberland Dragon, it has Unicorn, looks like a Kets, Chibi Grim Reaper, and MetaZoo is written in this like stone kind of font with vines on it. It's a really beautiful shirt. I would totally love to get one of these if they become available. So I'm going to keep an eye out for those. I'm really hoping they weren't just a Collecticon exclusive. For other announcements for the week, on the 23rd, we got an announcement about the fan art blisters. There's only going to be 10,000 of those blister packs. So if that's something that interests you, I don't know when they're going to drop yet. I will provide details on that when I can. Keep an eye out for those, because those are going to be in low supply and I believe high demand. I'm looking forward to these. On February 24th, we got a look at another revive board for Loveland Frogman. We've seen one other revive board for Grim Reaper a few weeks ago. I'll show that again. Still no concrete details that I could find on how to get the promos for these boards. I don't know if you need to buy a skateboard with them. If so, I do feel like they're going to be harder to come by because of that. I do love the look of the boards. I'm not a skateboarder myself. And on the 25th, Mike dropped a picture of an old Magicast box. And for those of you that don't know, Magicast was the original name of MetaZoo when it was being developed. It was then renamed to MetaZoo, and that's what we have today. There was some chatter in the Discord over this. Mike made it seem like it wasn't just a simple history drop, so I'm assuming this could mean that we might actually be getting some cards that are Magicast related, maybe some things from the original concepts of Magicast that he wants to bring into the MetaZoo world. And on the 22nd, there was a MetaZoo Hour. Some highlights for that didn't fall into some of these other topics. The ambassador cards will be free to distributors, and the distributors will be the ones who then decide how they want to distribute out those cards. So those could be free, those could be alongside other products. We'll have to see what goes on there. Walmart will not be restocking Cryptid Nation 2nd edition boxes, so what's already in Walmart's hands is what Walmart has. There will be no more. This doesn't mean that if your Walmart doesn't currently have them, they're not going to get them again. It depends on how they are doing their own internal distribution. So that doesn't mean stop checking, but that could mean that it's going to be pretty scarce from here on out. All right, you might notice that my camera just changed a bit. I have some ringing going on. I'm not sure what just happened. My computer died, and when I came back up, stuff was messed up. So ignore that. I'll fix that next time, but let's continue. One of the other questions that was asked was around the Wilderness cardstock, if it will be the same as the new cardstock that was used for the Valentine's Day cards. I don't have my Valentine's Day cards yet, so I can't attest to this. I do know that I wasn't too happy with the quality of Nightfall. I thought that the cards were hit or miss depending on the packs that you were opening. With many of the packs that I opened, it seemed like specifically the top of the cards had a lot of whitening, so I'm hoping that gets better with Wilderness if that's what they mean by that. For those interested in the NFTs, it wasn't announced that there will be 3,000 NFT sticker boxes for Wilderness, so those will be quite rare. And for those of you that are interested in the comics that are being released, There's a tentative release date for a graphic novel in August, and no real details on that yet, so it's really unknown how many of the comics will be collected in a single graphic novel. My guess is probably going to be 6. 6 seems to be a pretty common number there for graphic novels, and in this case, it's really not a graphic novel as you kind of know it with DC or Marvel, say. These are really collected stories in that sense, so it could be less, it could be more. And it was also confirmed that they plan to do 3 core sets per year. I feel like we probably already kind of knew this, but it's good to see that in writing. So for this year, that'll be Wilderness, UFO this summer, and Seance in the fall, with 3 following in the next year in 2023. And lastly, I wanted to talk about Collecticon. Obviously, I'm not at Collecticon. I could not make it to Orlando. My wife would have killed me. So this is the first big con for MetaZoo for the year. If you remember from my previous videos, there will be a number of Collecticons throughout the year. This happens to be the first. There's a tournament going on this weekend. It would be concluded by the time this video is out. So unfortunately at this time, I don't actually know who won the tournament, but this was a special tournament where many of the Terras were automatically active in the beginning. Many of the fourth wall effects were active right away. So going into this Collecticon tournament required a new strategy from what people might be used to. So I'm excited to get caught up on how the tournament went and how specifically the final 8 of the tournament went, which happened today on Sunday. I just didn't get a chance to really follow up on that before this video. The big thing I want to talk about around that is the Wilderness spoilers. So now that Collecticon is happening, a lot of these Wilderness spoilers are getting out there. You have the spoiler packs and all of that, and I've seen a ton of new cards for Wilderness over the past 24 hours. So obviously I'll post these as I'm talking about them. We have a number of cards. I'm just going to list off and talk about them a little bit. For Wilderness, we have Curse, which is the Lizard Man, a very nice looking card. We have the Collecticon promo, which is the egg with the yellow rings. We can see a nice chibi jackalope here. A golden-haired girl. We're getting a look at some of the new auras and terras. We have a water aura, a daytime, a snowflake token. We have a card called Rest in Peace with a jackalope on it. And for some of the new beasties, we have Beaver Shark, Joe Magarok, Ohio Grassman, a spell called Lightning Strikes Twice. Something really interesting is this new Terra card called Replenishing Showers. In this card, we see it actually has a special Terra effect. For this one, it is whenever a caster contracts a non-neutral spell, they may pay 2 neutral aura to bookmark 1. So we're starting to see some Terras with some special abilities here with Wilderness. I'm sure there's more than just this one, so I'm excited to see what some of the other ones are. Getting a look at some of the other cards I've seen over the past few days, we have Atmospheric Jellyfish and Tidal Pull. We have a look at the Dark Aura for Wilderness. We have a look at a new card from Poncho called Awful. From what I've seen so far, this is actually one of my favorites. We have Chibi Bigfoot, Frozen Spirit Sigil. We have a Snolligoster, a Chibi Cumberland Dragon, a Fountain of Youth, a Mishi Peshu, a Woolly Mammoth, a Wampus Cat, the Pink Mess of Goose Creek Lagoon, the Phantom Jogger of Canyon Hill, and a Haunted Tundra. So I'm sure there's more out there. That was just a list of the ones that I was able to quickly pull some images for over the past couple days. Drop a comment below telling me what card that you've seen so far for Wilderness that you're most excited about. Well, that's all I have for today's update, so thank you for watching. I actually recently had a back injury, which is why I've only been doing the 1 video per week here for these MetaZoo updates. I'm actually feeling much better, and it no longer pains me to sit in this chair for a long period of time, so I do plan to move back to 2 videos a week. With the release of Brilliant Stars for Pokemon this week, I will likely do a video for that. I haven't received my items for that yet. I should have my first ETBs tomorrow. So I'm hoping midweek to late week I will have something for the Pokemon side of things, which has been probably close to a month and a half since I've done a video on that side of the hobby. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you later in the week.